this is a compilation of all my Warlord theories. I just finished ranking the Warlords, and this is just a compilation of all their theories I put together for you. So make sure you enjoy, and if you want, like and subscribe because I'm posting more compilations very soon. Bye.
Blackbeard is a man shrouded in mystery. We know bits and pieces, but a lot of it is still up for interpretation. Walk with me. Today, we will be getting into some Blackbeard theories. I am currently ranking the Warlords on my channel, and I like to drop a theory video that is with that Warlord, and it's Blackbeard's week. So go check out the ranking too if you want, but let's get into these theories. Blackbeard has some of the best theories in One Piece, so I'm really excited about this video. Let's start off with the most infamous theory. The one that I've already covered this theory, but I'm gonna give you a quick rundown. Blackbeard has 3 devil fruits, and Blackbeard also has 3 hearts. As Blackbeard and the number 3 have a lot in common. Now, he already has 2 devil fruits, the Yami Yami no Mi and the Gura Gura fruit, but the third is a complete mystery. Now, where this theory becomes interesting is Blackbeard may have an octopus or a kraken devil fruit. And I personally love that idea of Blackbeard having 3 devil fruits, but I don't think that he would have a third devil fruit that is the Kraken no Mi. I think that is the awakened version of the Yami Yami no Mi, as the black could be ink from the Kraken or whatever. It's a very out there theory, but it's really not. If you look at it, there's a lot of points that match up. So if you need more information about that, go check out my Blackbeard theories. I don't even remember which video it was, but I talked about it. But let's look at some more deeper and obscure Blackbeard theories. Let's start with Blackbeard may have a dark persona. Like, yes, we all know Blackbeard is a villain. He's a dark persona already, but I mean even darker, like Cavendish, for example. When Blackbeard falls asleep like Cavendish, he has like a transformation, okay? Like a mink, for example. When they see the moon, they turn white and have white hair and are buffed by the moon. It's a very interesting thing with the minks, but the same thing happens to Cavendish when he falls asleep. It doesn't have to be under a moon or anything. He's buffed.
The importance of this fight, I have a personal debt to repay. I'll turn this place into a sea of blood. This battle is my responsibility. I don't care. I'll rip this woman to shreds.
Marco confirms that his body is strange and that he doesn't sleep. And Shanks tells Whitebeard that he doesn't know the real Blackbeard. So this leads me to believe that when Blackbeard does sleep, he goes into a trance, like I said, like Cavendish, where he is buffed, okay, and has this unknown power ability. Because what really leads me to believe all this is Shanks versus Blackbeard. Shanks actually was scarred by Blackbeard pre-time skip, pre-Yami Yami no Mi. How? What? How? We don't know the real Blackbeard. So let me know your thoughts on that theory, but we're gonna move on. And my next theory is Blackbeard might be a Vegapunk test subject. Now, it is said that Blackbeard spent most of his childhood on a snowy or winter island. What if it was Vegapunk's island, Karakuri Island, where he became a subject of Vegapunk's science? And what were these tests done on Blackbeard? I'm guessing that it would be tests about devil fruits and a few other things we're going to get into in a second, but devil fruits in particular, because at that time, Vegapunk was researching devil fruits, okay? Taking it further and testing these theories on people, and one of those people were Blackbeard. Maybe the test was about how people can eat more than one devil fruit, which Blackbeard is known to have multiple devil fruits. And if that was the case, it was successful. Or it could have been a situation where Vegapunk simply turns Blackbeard into a cyborg of some sorts. This is why he doesn't sleep and why people say that his body is strange. Maybe because he doesn't need to sleep and his body is strange because it's robotic. This could honestly explain his vast knowledge of things that most people in the story just don't know. He learned it all from Vegapunk, igniting his true plan at a very young age. And this could also be where he got the Devil Fruit Encyclopedia from. I don't know. This theory I really do like. I don't like the cyborgness of it, but I wouldn't put it past Oda to do something like that. I want to know your guys' thoughts on that theory in particular. I have a bonus theory here, okay? And it's just for shits and giggles, so just walk with me. My bonus theory is that I am Blackbeard. Oh God. Okay, so somebody told me in one of my comments that I looked like a cleaned up version of Blackbeard, which I don't know if this is a compliment or not. But let's look at the characteristics. We both have a longer nose. I definitely have a longish nose, and Blackbeard definitely has a long nose. So, I mean, are we one and the same? Possibly. Now, Blackbeard is known to wear, you know, things around his forehead or whatever, like a headband-ish type situation. I do too. I have a bad hairline, okay? So I like to kind of hide it a little bit. And am I Blackbeard? And the final plausible information I have on this theory is me and Blackbeard almost have the same laugh. Let's test it. That's my laugh. Okay, here's Blackbeard's laugh. Now, I don't know. I could be Blackbeard. Let me know your thoughts on that theory as well. Now, my last Blackbeard theory is about what his next move will be in the story. And the last time we seen Blackbeard, he was telling Lafitte to be ready, but to be ready for what? Which leads me to believe one of two things. The Blackbeard pirates are the ones causing havoc on Marijois. And this could be the reason that Shamrock had to leave Elbaf so early on in the Elbaf arc, and it'd be to defeat Blackbeard. And Blackbeard, believe it or not, has ties with Shamrock. He already scarred his brother back in the day, and Shamrock and Shanks's father actually got the last hit on Roxdiza Beck, killing him officially. And the trio was also saved on God Valley. Now, like I said, they have a few things in common here, okay? And even if it's not Blackbeard on Marijois, I know that these two will see each other, and I really want it to be Blackbeard, I'm not gonna lie. Now, what is he doing up on Marijois? Well, I have a few theories about that, but I don't think it's Blackbeard at all, honestly. It would honestly make more sense if it was Dragon, hopefully. I'm hoping. Which leads me to my last guess on what Blackbeard's next move will be. He's watching the Revs. Okay, first of all, right now he's watching the Revs, telling Lafitte to be ready, seeing what they are up to, and it seems like Blackbeard is low-key waiting to strike, but to strike what? And it won't be on Marijois. During the madness that is going on right now on Marijois and what's happening in Elbaf, I think he will break in to Impel Down again. Now, why? For knowledge from who? Either Doflamingo or King. And let's break this down. Okay, so Doflamingo knows a secret about the world government, the national treasure of Marijois. Freeing Doflamingo would allow Doflamingo to join the Blackbeard pirates and giving them all the information that he has on Marijois, which could lead them to get an upper hand in an end battle situation. A lot of people want Doflamingo to join Cross Guild. I'm not against that either, But I feel like Blackbeard is so calculated that he was thinking about this during Dressrosa, okay? Which would leave him to infiltrate Marijois after all the chaos is over with the revs that I personally think are up there right now, allowing him to get whatever it is that Doflamingo knows about, the information that Doflamingo knows. This will be the perfect time to go and get it. Now, why do I say king? Because he is part of a dead race, the Lunarians. And the Lunarians at one point were thriving on the Red Line. And we already know that this dead race, the Lunarians, will take an important role in the end story. I mean, look at Emu, for example. They look like a Lunarian. Hello? And that leads me to believe that we will see King again. Now, I believe this is a good theory. It's not very strong because King could give Blackbeard some information, okay, about the Lunarians, about the Red Line or history, you know, that other people just don't know in the story. And once again, could give him an upper hand if he ever has to go against Emu. But I think I like the Doflamingo one better, but I don't know. They're both pretty, they're not really that strong. They're not really based off of much but speculation, but I kind of like both, okay? Now for a little recap of my Blackbeard theories. First, we talked about Blackbeard having 3 devil fruits, the classic theory, and the third one would be the Kraken fruit, which I think is bogus, and it's actually the Yami Yami no Mi that is awakened that would be the Kraken fruit. Either one would be great in my opinion, so it's a classic theory. I like that theory. My second theory was about Blackbeard having a dark persona like Cavendish, meaning when he falls asleep he turns into a buffed version of himself that is almost unstoppable, kind of like the Minx. I really like this theory as well. And my third theory was about Blackbeard possibly being a test subject for Vegapunk, and the tests were devil fruit related and also maybe possibly cyborg related, and that would explain why Blackbeard can eat multiple devil fruits or why his body is so weird. Who knows? And finally, we talk about Blackbeard's next move, and that's either he is the one on Marijois going bonkers with his crew, just going crazy, that's why Shamrock had to go back, or he is watching the revs, waiting to strike the perfect time to go to Impel Down, breaking out a few opponents that could give him information on in the last era for One Piece. I would love to know your thoughts on these Blackbeard theories. I know they're kind of out there, but when you really don't know nothing, a lot of it's kind of solid. Like, you could talk yourself into a lot of Blackbeard theories and I'm here for it, honestly. It's just like, this is like bittersweet because this is my second to last Warlord that I'm doing in my series. If you don't know, I'm ranking the Warlords, blah blah blah, theory videos, blah blah blah. Go check them all out. Wait, don't leave. I need to tell you about these Doflamingo theories, and I'm gonna need you to walk with me, so walk. And today we are getting into some Doflamingo theories. This is the finale of my Warlord series. If you want to go check it out, go check it out. But today and this week was all about Doflamingo. Go check out his ranking and let's get into these theories. And let's start with Doflamingo's information on the world government, better known as the national treasure of Marijois. Now, what do we know about this national treasure? Really, all we know is that it will shake the world to its core.
He also says, I would have been able to use the national treasure of Marijois to control the world itself. Now keep walking.
Now this leads everyone to believe that it is an ancient weapon which could literally shake the world to its core due to the impact of the blast. Which is, it's really the boring explanation, but is 100% a possibility, you know what I'm saying? Because what happened to Louisia, you know, that had to have been something. But when that happened, you didn't get an iconic Doflamingo from prison laughing scene. You just didn't get it. So that leads me to believe that that's not what he was talking about. So let's get a little bit more crazy. What if he knows about Emu? or more importantly, the book that Imu seems to have in his possession. Because Doflamingo refers to it, not the book, but the national treasure itself. He refers to it as a national treasure. And the way he speaks about it, it sounds more like a thing than a person or a being, which would be Imu. So it would make more sense if it was an object and not a person. Now, in the story of One Piece, a lot of things are referred to as will flip the world, will shake the world, will destroy the world to its core, whatever. It's a lot of different sayings. But you know what else flips the world and shakes people to their core?
With the potential to control the entire world?
Domi Reversi. Now, Domi Reversi can flip the personality of the victims that Imu chooses to use it against, making them become mind-controlled slaves. And I think that's what the magic book holds, the secrets of Domi Reversi. And if Doflamingo leaked this power, it definitely would shake the world to its core, this devilish power allowing people to not be in control of themselves. It's a scary thing. Now, imagine that in the real world. People would shit themselves, okay? Now, that's all fun and stuff, but what would be more interesting to me personally, I do love that book. I want to know more about that book. And matter of fact, I just uploaded a video talking about everything we know about Imu's powers so far, so go check that video out. But what would be more interesting to me is if the national treasure of Marijwa was the Black Flame Omen. This is Imu's clutch as a power, and he uses it for a lot of things. Now, what if this black flame, you could borrow it from a certain place on Marijwa, like a cauldron of sorts that has a flame in it that is undying, and it just won't go out, this black flame. So if we look at the elbaf mural, this being over here that is, a lot of people think that it is Imu, I believe it's Imu as well, is holding what looks to be a sun, but it could also just be flames, you know what I'm saying? What if this is the flame? What if this is the national treasure, the Black Flame Omen? Now, I know in the mural it's not black per se, so what if this is a passed down flame, an older version of the flame, the original mother flame that is low-key used as like an energy source or whatever, and like I said, could be borrowed, taken away, or somehow put inside of Imu somehow, some way. Now, like I said, let's say it's in a cauldron of some sorts in Marijwa and can be siphoned by other people like Imu in particular, or what if Imu is the only one that can do this and Doflamingo somehow knows about this and he calls it the national treasure of Marijwa. Now let's talk about the mother flame for a second, because it is known as the undying flame, an energy source, like I just said about the omen flame. That was theoretically, okay? The mother flame is known to be an undying flame. You should go check out my Imu versus Joy Boy video. I think that'll answer some questions about how that flame went out. Just go watch it. But the mother flame we see on Egghead is an unfinished version of the mother flame, okay? So it didn't have the same effects that the real mother flame could have. And in my opinion, I think the omen flame could have been what the mother flame wants or wanted to be. Or on the other hand, the omen flame wants to be what the mother flame was. You know, I don't know. I'm going back and forth with it.
Just to be clear here on this issue, I just want to say that the mural that NL sees on the moon when he travels to the moon after Skypiea, there is a flame there. Now, a lot of people think that is the mother flame. I believe it is too, to an extent. That is the original mother flame. The people of the moon brought down a mother flame a long time ago, and that's what Vegapunk was trying to recreate. Now, like I said, the one on the moon is the original mother flame, and that could be the Black Flame Omen. Okay.
The national treasure of Marijwa could have been a number of things, okay? So I would like to know what you think the national treasure is, okay? And what do you think about what I think about? the national treasure. And now let's move on to why the government let Doflamingo blackmail them into this whole situation with the knowledge of the national treasure. I think, honestly, because they could easily set up a cover-up for Doflamingo's murder, but simply I think that it's just easier to keep him alive, because who knows who Doflamingo told this information to. Just because you kill Doflamingo doesn't mean that you kill the information of the national treasure that could spread around the world like wildfire. He could have told people and they could have murdered him, and if he came up missing, then the people that he told, like I said, could have spread this information, as they opted in to give him just special privileges as a warlord, rather than having this information of shake the world to its core information spread. And whatever it is, I still don't think that we've seen it yet, unless it is the Omen or Emu themselves, whatever, the book even. I think it will shake the fan base to its core once we understand what it is, or Doflamingo gives the confirmation that the world government has used it. Can't wait. Now let's move on to my next Doflamingo theory. Doflamingo's ultimate grand scheme didn't work. And no, I'm not talking about the smile fruits or the sad factory, because in my opinion, that kind of did work. I know he wanted it to go farther, but he got enough smiles over to Kaidou, and Kaidou had thousands of, people under his reins with these smile fruits. So in my opinion, that was kind of a success, ultimately being stopped by Luffy. As we all know, he was getting rich, all while popping pussy for Kaidou. Love to see it. But this isn't the failed plan I speak of. I am talking about the mishap with Ace's devil fruit. Now there's a few layers to this, so I need you to walk with me. Now this is kind of an old theory that Ace got his devil fruit from Doflamingo in order to take out or mess with Whitebeard in a way, because when Ace and Whitebeard first met, Ace was on bumpers. He was trying to fight Whitebeard, but that was stopped by Jinbei, and it failed, leading to Ace to actually join up with Whitebeard. Now this would make sense for Doflamingo, as he is conniving and very ahead when it comes to his thinking, so him trying to lay out this grand plan, successfully ruining Doflamingo's goal of taking out Whitebeard. It just slowed down Doflamingo's plan. It didn't fully dissolve it yet. When Doflamingo gets word of Ace's execution, he gets excited as the plan reignites. Knowing Whitebeard would show up to this war, this was a perfect time for Doflamingo to get his hands on the Gura Gura no Mi. But ultimately, this plan failed, as Blackbeard was on top of it and got the Gura Gura before Doflamingo, going under the black cloth, twerking for Whitebeard and stealing the devil fruit from his body somehow, some way. And Doflamingo is left with the Mera Mera fruit once again. Now, why would Doflamingo want the Gura Gura fruit? He already has a devil fruit. Most of his crewmates have devil fruits. Well, it would simply be to gain power, as he sorta did with the Mera Mera no Mi, allowing a lot of people to come to his kingdom and fight for the Mera Mera no Mi. He traps all these people, and if it wasn't for Luffy, they'd still be there as toys. But imagine a world where Doflamingo had the Gura Gura no Mi, the devil fruit that is said to be able to destroy the world. He could have given it to one of his subordinates, like Law was supposed to work under Doflamingo and be his next right-hand man. He could have did that with anybody else and given them the Gura Gura no Mi. Or he could have given it to Kaidou, and Kaidou could have given it to one of his subordinates. And like I said, it's a reach for power. Doflamingo trading these devil fruits, he's already great at trading guns and weapons and stuff, so it'd be easy for him to trade this devil fruit for power, rising in the ranks, making him steps closer to taking over Marige, while that was his initial plan ever since he killed his father. Retribution in the form of chaos for whoever stood in his way. Now let's move on to Doflamingo's theoretical endgame activities. I think he will eventually end up escaping Impel Down, joining with Cross Guild. It would make sense for him to be out rubbing his hands with another emperor and especially Buggy, because it'd be easy to manipulate Buggy, having his way with Cross Guild. And I also see two other ways of this happening: him escaping because of Blackbeard or Kaidou coming to cause another riot in Impel Down. He either joins with Kaidou, and because him and Kaidou are already have close bonds or whatever, or Blackbeard giving him the information about the national treasure. I would like it if it would be Blackbeard or Cross Guild. Personally, I'm really rooting for the Cross Guild link up, because like I was saying with the national treasure, this information could be helpful in defeating Emu at the end of the story, and whoever gets their hands on this information would give them an upper hand in the final battle against Emu, whether that be the Straw Hats or Cross Guild. Either way, I do see Doflamingo escaping Impel Down somehow, some way. He's not going to spend the rest of his life in that prison. I don't see it for him. But let's get into my recap of these theories real quick. My first theory was about Doflamingo having the information of the national treasure and what it could possibly be, whether that be the book that Emu seems to be carrying around, or the Black Omen Flame, or Emu themselves, or an ancient weapon. Whatever it is, it will be crazy when it is officially confirmed by Doflamingo himself, and why the world government allowed Doflamingo to blackmail them for his ranks in the world. My next theory was about Doflamingo and his failed scheme that failed him twice, trying to get the Gura off of Whitebeard with Ace's devil fruit twice, but it didn't happen. And finally, we got into the theory of Doflamingo possibly either helping the Straw Hats or helping destroy the Straw Hats with this national treasure information, because if the Straw Hats get their hands on that information, it would be of great use in this endgame war against Emu. And I could see it going either way. I would love to know your thoughts about these Doflamingo theories. They're kind of interesting. Doflamingo doesn't have that many theories out there, but I dug deep for these, okay? So, and I hope you enjoyed them as much as I did. One of the most mysterious races in all of One Piece. And even with answers, we're still left with more questions. Walk with me. Today, we are getting into some Kuma theories, okay? It is Kuma's week on my channel. I'm ranking the Warlords, and hey, it's Kuma. I like to drop a theory video that coincides with that Warlord, so let's get into it. And let's start safe with the possibility that Whitebeard could have been a buccaneer. And this honestly comes from the fact that Kuma and Whitebeard have the same body type as children. But if you look deeper into it, there's more to this case. For example, you can be a chubby kid, but why is Whitebeard so big? Not big as in just large, but he's very tall. Taller than your average person in One Piece. Doflamingo is tall. That's what I would expect. He's 10 feet tall actually, because as an adult, Whitebeard stands at 666 centimeters or 22 feet tall. That's 2 Doflamingos, okay? So it's just what? Even GARP is tall, or Akainu is pretty tall. There's tall characters for sure. But this just seems a bit out of character for someone that's not a giant. He has to be a buccaneer. Could the buccaneer race explain this height with Whitebeard? But more evidence on the Whitebeard being a buccaneer is buccaneers have strange bodies, and this causes Vegapunk to, this is why he believes that the self-destruct, it really wasn't a self-destruct, he was just supposed to lose all movement, a vegetative state, couldn't move, to make it seem like he was dead, and Kuma just getting up and running to Egghead, which causes Vegapunk to believe that this is how Kuma regained some of his free will. His body. He should be dead. In fact, he went on to clash with Akainu, punching one of the 5 elders after the shutdown was initiated. So, could this have to do with his body? Vegapunk, you might be onto something. If he wanted to go out, he was going to go out the way he wanted to. Is this a superpower? Is this why Whitebeard died standing up? showcasing this incredible will in the face of adversary. Okay, enough with Whitebeard. Let's look more into this Buccaneer situation. And what do we know about the Buccaneers as of right now? Well, we know that they were born to be slaves, and they committed a crime eons ago. A crime so bad that they are still being hunted down to this day. And we know that their bodies are special, something more than physical strength. So I'm going to theorize on the strange bodies of the Buccaneers and the crime that they committed a long time ago. Keep walking. Let's start with the body. And in One Piece, the heart is very important. Now, in the real world, when you think somebody has a heart, that just means like they're compassionate, you know, and just a pacifist. Hello? Kuma calls himself a pacifist. He has a pure soul. Okay, so he would sacrifice himself for Bonnie. He would have did it for Jenny. He was upset about his own mother, you know. He's just that kind of person. Because if you look at Clap, which is Kuma's dad, he also seemed like that kind of person that would sacrifice themselves for the ones that he loved and even help other people that he didn't know. Now this leads me to believe that the Buccaneers might have had enlarged hearts. This would explain the certain body type that they have and the extra strength that they seem to have. And I think this ultimately gives them all stronger wills. Okay. Now, wills in One Piece are still very unexplained, basically. Like, it's still kind of a mystery for us. To use the devil fruit explanation that we've gotten from Vegapunk, it would make sense, being able to stretch their limits with their wills, allowing the Buccaneers to outperform normal people. Which leads me to my final Kuma theory, the crime of wills. This enlarged heart of the Buccaneers made them the creator of wills, creating their own wills, and at some point was preaching this to other people. Now, the preacher situation is a thing. Kuma and his father were both preachers of a church. So them spreading the word is just, it's already there. It's there. I'm just connecting these dots. And at some point in the past, the Buccaneers taught other people, preached to other people about this free will, or wills overall, allowing others to do the same. Pulling this will power out of people like Kuma's devil fruit. I think it's just right there. This is one of the theories that I really believe in, but let's keep walking. Now that was just the beginning of the crime. An ancestor of the Buccaneer race went on to teach Joy Boy about these wills. The bending of wills causing Joy Boy to do whatever it was that he did. And his will continued on to live throughout the story. And this is why the Buccaneers praise Nika to this day, and are very religious, at least Kuma's family was, because it's ancient knowledge, okay? The will is an ancient knowledge that the Buccaneer race came up with because they have enlarged hearts, so that makes their will even stronger. It's such a good theory. It's a little confusing, but I mean, hey, what are you gonna do? But I still like the theory. And this is why Kuma can see Joy Boy in Luffy before anybody else, and that is the crime of the Buccaneer race. And now a little recap for my Kuma theories. The first one was, it is possible that Whitebeard could have been a Buccaneer due to a few similarities that Kuma and Whitebeard had. That one was just for fun, okay? The last two, I really was like here for, okay? And my second theory was that the Buccaneer race just has enlarged hearts, which makes them more powerful and more loving. And finally, the Buccaneer race committed a crime. We theorized on that a little bit and why they're being hunted down to this day. And it was because they helped Joy Boy not create his will, but really push it to the limit, allowing Joy Boy to do whatever it was that he did back in the day that still rubs Emu the wrong way. Okay, so let me know what you think about these Kuma theories. I know I'm always reaching, okay? I love a good theory that is like 99% possibility that it's not real just because it makes it fun, but these Kuma theories were actually pretty good. Let me know your thoughts. The complications and confusions around Edward Weevil are quite alarming. Walk with me. Now today we are getting into some Edward Weevil theories. I am currently ranking the warlords on my channel, and with those warlord rankings, I like to drop a theory video that coincides with that warlord, and it just happens to be Weevil's week. And honestly, I was going into this video like, are we gonna really have that many Weevil theories? But when you dig into it, it gets pretty interesting. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm gonna need you to walk with me. Let's get into it. And let's start with the most obvious one. Weevil being a clone of Whitebeard. Or should I say failed experiment. Because if he is a clone, it would be at the hands of Vegapunk. As Weevil's mother, Miss Buckingham Stussy, claims that Vegapunk can clear all the confusion up about Weevil being Whitebeard's son. Why is Vegapunk the only one that knows this information? Why is he the only one that got your back about this? It's very iffy, okay, questionable at best. But we all know Vegapunk is famously a perfectionist, throwing away a near perfect replica of Kaidou's devil fruit. All because the dragon form of whoever eats this devil fruit would be pink and not blue. Not only was he a perfectionist, but that man had OCD. Okay, because that devil fruit was once again near perfect. The only thing that was different was the colors. But like, just to waste it is nuts. I say all this to say that if Weevil was a clone, he is a failed clone experiment. I mean, look at bro. Compared to Whitebeard, he looks like someone saw Whitebeard and told their nervous 7-year-old son to draw him. Okay? And I'm not coming for his looks. Maybe he just got dealt a bad hand. But come on. And honestly, let's look at Whitebeard. Whitebeard wasn't really all that. Now, I know Whitebeard has stands that are kind of like sexually attracted to Whitebeard. I don't know. I can't explain it. But he's not the worst looking, okay? Now, Weevil's own mother has a clone, okay? And honestly, I'm not really sure why. But I'm guessing it was for what she was doing, which was keeping an eye out, a spy in the world government ranks. But this clone was perfect, acting and sounding and looking exactly like a young Miss Buckingham Stussy. So cloning is 100% indeed possible. I feel like Weevil was one of the first. That's why I'm calling him an experiment. Because Weevil is 35 years old, okay? And what else was happening 35-ish years ago? Now I'm going somewhere with this, okay? Just keep walking with me. So on God Valley, this is where we find out that Stussy Loki was in love with Whitebeard, but Whitebeard wasn't with that gay shit, okay? He just wasn't. So this could have gone two ways, in my opinion. Since Whitebeard was basically like, nah, Shine, you're a thought, forcing the scorned Stussy to take materials of Whitebeard materials and using those materials to create a Whitebeard clone. Now, she could have made this clone so the clone could fall in love with her, you know, really, that's really creepy, a creepy way of thinking of things, and it failed, and she called the clone her son. Now, she could have took these materials very easily, okay? Let's be real. In the God Valley flashback, she's seen always up close with Whitebeard. Even though Whitebeard wasn't with it, she still kind of forced herself. So I could see her stealing these materials from Whitebeard, taking them back to Mads, which she was also a part of, creating who we now know today is Edward Weevil, the first failed clone experiment in secrecy. Now I say in secrecy because it's like, how didn't Whitebeard know about this? Because when we get to Marineford, right, Edward Weevil at that point would be 33 years old. Going 33 years old and your father is one of the biggest pirates on the sea, and it's just, that's what I'm saying. It's just like questionable. How the fuck didn't Whitebeard know about this? Now, the second possibility of Edward Weevil possibly being related to Whitebeard is that one day Whitebeard possibly might have gotten a little too drunk. Okay, he loved his sake, his alcohol. He was a pirate, okay? And ends up making sweet, sweet pirate love to Buckingham Stussy, making her pregnant with Weevil, and he was just born with a little bit of the tism. And I feel like saying that is weird, okay? But there's something off about Buddy, okay? But I think I like the clone version better. That second version was just like, hey, let's just get it in real quick, okay? But I like the cloning version better. Her stealing Whitebeard's materials to create this clone.
Now I have a bonus theory that I'm going to add here real quick. It kind of ties in with this whole cloning situation. So Queen, as we all know, he is from the Beast Pirates or whatever. He was actually, before the Beast Pirates, was also a part of MADS, the science group. Stussy, Queen, Vegapunk, Judge, they were all in this group called MADS. And I'm guessing that her connections with them are what caused Weevil, as we talked about just a second ago. But what if Weevil isn't a Blackbeard clone? What if he is a fucking Queen clone? They resemble each other so much. I was talking earlier about Whitebeard and how he doesn't really look like Weevil or whatever, and it's kind of weird, and that's where I came up with that failed experiment, because he just doesn't look like Whitebeard or whatever. And it's still a possibility, but I kind of am here for the Queen clone. I don't know. What do you guys think about this? They just look alike, you know. That's really all there is to that theory. I don't know. It could honestly go both ways. And Queen being a part of MADS, he could have got his hands on this cloning project that he had going on. What if he accidentally switched his materials with Blackbeard's materials? Yuck. That's so nasty. But like, what if that is what happened and she just thinks that, oh, this is my Whitebeard clone? I don't know. That's so crazy. Let me know how you feel about this. Enjoy the rest of the video.
And my last Weevil theory is about his end goal. And let's be real here. It's obvious Stussy is pulling the strings in this whole ordeal, using Weevil's strength and possible relationship to Whitebeard as a means to steal Whitebeard's treasure. Now, if you believe he's a clone, it would make sense that she is trying to just claim it for herself, because she doesn't even give motherly vibes. To be honest, I mean, she was crying when Weevil was arrested or whatever, but she's very hard on Weevil. But maybe it's just because he's a fucking idiot. I don't know. Unfortunately, Weevil's character will only be used as a guide to either Whitebeard's treasure or the cloning experiments stuff or whatever, you know, or maybe even both. And I say unfortunately because it's like, look at our other legends that have kids, okay? Like Ace and Gold Roger, Dragon and Luffy, Rocks and Blackbeard. You know, not to say Blackbeard is like the most handsome, but like they set out to do something, you know. And this is why I say unfortunately, because Weevil's just a mess, okay? All around a mess. He looks a mess. His whole layout is a fucking mess. His mother is making it even more messy. It's a mess. And that's sad for Blackbeard, that if that is his legacy, you know, Weevil it's a bit unfortunate. Maybe he did know about Weevil, but he was just like, bro, you're not my son. Like, purposely, you know. And now for a little recap of my Weevil theories. And my first one was Stussy stole Whitebeard ingredients to create a clone of Whitebeard to finally make her dream come true of being cracked by Whitebeard. But the clone failed, ultimately leaving her no choice but to call the clone her son. And my second theory was Stussy is currently using Weevil to take Whitebeard's treasure by force in an ultimate act of revenge for Whitebeard not loving her for who she was, or just loving her at all, because she did love Whitebeard, but he just didn't feel that way, yada yada. Let me know how you feel about these Weevil theories. I think the cloning situation, when I did the ranking of Weevil, I was just like, I don't think there's no coming back for his plot line, and I kind of still feel that way. But now that I like looked into it and stuff, the cloning situation is very, very interesting. Whether she did it as an act of revenge, or she really loved Whitebeard and wanted to just make a clone of him somehow. I don't know. I really can't explain it, but it's all interesting to me personally. First son of the sea, everyone's favorite fishman, Jinbei, has a few theories about him. Walk with me. Channel today, yes, we'll be getting into some Jinbei theories. And I'm so excited about this because Jinbei actually has a few theories about him that I'm kind of into a little bit. So I'm excited. But currently on my channel, we are ranking the Warlords, and this week is Jinbei's week. So let's get into these theories. And let's start with the possibility that Jinbei is of royal descent. Hear me out. He has one of the coolest epithets in the story. The first son of the sea, Jinbei. Like, it's so iconic, you know? But what do you mean by that? Can you elaborate on that a little more? Why haven't we gotten more about what that means? It's just like a cool name that we call him? I don't know. I think there's more to it. Now, a lot of people think that it's because he is one of the first fishermen that have movement outside of Fishman Island, you know, and can walk on among the surface of people and kind of be respected by humans themselves. But, and it is a big but, I think there's more to that epithet of first son of the sea. Now, walk with me here on a few possibilities. The one that stands out to me the most could possibly be that in the past there was a family of fishmen, okay? And they and the world government, Emu in particular, were close. They were good. He was kind of bad, an evil king fishman, okay? And this fishman was related to Jinbei. He is an ancestor of Jinbei. And when the whole ancient incident happened, Poseidon, you know, it could have something to do with that, you know. But when this whole ancient incident happened, this certain king fishman was taken out and replaced with Neptune's family, which isn't so far out of the realm of possibility here, especially with the recent reveals of ancient characters from Davy Jones and the God of War on Elbaf. If there was an ancient figure that was a fishman, and a lot of people think that is Poseidon, I think there's more. Personally, we already have Nefertari D. Lily from Alabasta, the God of War from Elbaf, the Kozuki clan from Wano. Fishman Island is right up there with the importance of these islands, okay? Why haven't we talked about a fishman yet? Maybe it was Poseidon, okay? And maybe he was evil, and this Poseidon was related to Jinbei, and that's why we call Jinbei the first son of the sea. Hello? I in seriousness, I just think it'd be interesting if Jinbei was related to this he or she character. And now I'm more on the side that it was Poseidon. Was Poseidon evil? Was he Domi reversied? Possibly? Who knows? Now that was definitely a bit of reaching, and I'm sorry, okay? As I go on to reach even more. But this one is kind of like, it's still a reach, I'm not gonna lie to you. Now, the next option for Jinbei having special heritage is, what if he's not the first son of the sea? What if he is the first son of the sea? I'm sorry. I mean, they do have a lot of themes when it comes to the sun on Fishman Island. The sun pirates, you know, or how the Eve tree shines light down on Fishman Island, which is kind of insane, and we don't know what that means. What if Jinbei is related to that somehow? The first son of the sea? It's kind of like how Mihawk is the world's strongest swordsman. Go check out my theory video on that. It's really good. So my point being is, I think Jinbei, his heritage, his family, his ancestors had something to do with why the Eve tree reaches light all the way to, I don't know. I know I'm reaching, so let's just move on. Now, my last Jinbei theory is, it's crazy. It's crazy. Jinbei will sacrifice himself for Luffy. Yeah. And you ask how? Well, it's not going to be, you know, your typical jump in front of attack that is bearing down on Luffy. That's possible, 100%. Jinbei is very loyal when it comes to Luffy. That's boring. Boring. He already did that. You know, he doesn't need to do it again. Now walk with me. Luffy will be down and out during this fight with Emu at the end of the One Piece story, and he will be begging and pleading. Luffy will be begging and pleading for meat. He needs something to eat. Oh my god. Jinbei offers himself up, and Luffy eats him and goes on to defeat Emu, goes on to claim the One Piece. The end. I'm just kidding. But I do think something like this is possible because of how loyal Jinbei is, that he will offer himself to Luffy, and as a gag, Luffy goes to like take a bite, but he's like, I can't do it, you're my friend, you know. I could see that happening. It's goofy, it's One Piece, okay? Now for a little recap of my Jinbei theories. Jinbei's heritage could be special. He could be related to the hypothetical king that I'm making up in my head, the ancient ancestor of Jinbei that was around during the ancient times and had something to do with that whole conflict. Whether he was a bad or good guy, I'm leaning more towards bad guy, and he was replaced by Neptune and that family. That's the first theory. I know, reach. And the second theory was Jinbei's heritage, this was a different option, could have had something to do with why sunlight reaches the sea floor on Fishman Island with the Eve tree. Jinbei's heritage had something to do with that. That's why we call him the first son of the sea. I know I'm reaching. I know, but there could be something to that. And last but not least was Jinbei offers himself up as food to Luffy in the end of the story, as he is depleted and needs something to defeat Emu fully. But Luffy won't do it, but I could see that happening 100%. But yeah, let me know how you feel about these Jinbei theories. I know they're reaches, but once again, just have fun. Lean into the world a little bit. Not everything is so fucking serious. You know? Believe it or not, but the most mysterious warlord that we actually just found out about actually has a theory about him. Walk with me. Today, we will be getting into a Hanafuda theory. Okay, interesting. I know, interesting, right? But currently we are ranking the warlords on my channel, and it was Hanafuda's week this week. We're getting through them one by one. Go check out the rest of the series. I like to drop a theory video that coincides with said warlord that week, and it's Hanafuda's turn. Let's get into it. Now, what is this theory all about? What is the rave with Hanafuda? It's all about his epithet, King of the Lizards. Looking at the outside, knowing that he was a collector of certain devil fruits, often giving them to Kaidou, who is known for his beast pirate crew. They all have, you know, dinosaur devil fruits and shit like that. Which leads me to believe that Hanafuda had the lizard no mi
model Barbaturex. I don't know how to say that word, but that's what I think Hanafuda had. Which, I mean, it's like, okay. I mean, if you're looking at the picture, it's like, okay, meh, you know? But I mean, it could be cool, you know? Like, depending on the user, it could definitely be cool. Now, Jim Morrison often called himself King of the Lizards as well. That's probably just the basis of the character design, I'm pretty sure. But I think it's more than the Devil Fruit or the Jim Morrison comparisons. But what if he actually was the King of the Lizards? What if something happened on his island like what happened on God Valley, and what I presume to happen on Buggy's Island, the Clown Valley incident? Go check that video out, it's really good. What if there was a cleansing on this lizard island, you know? His kids were also lizards as well. They had lizard-ish devil fruits. So it's there, kind of. I'm reaching a lot, but I could see it happening. And this cleansing wiped the whole lizard race off of the map, you know? And before you say anything about Zao, there's no lizards on Zao. Where are the lizard people? Huh? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I know I'm reaching. But it's like, we have clowns in the story. We have a full country of talking animals on this walking, talking elephant. So it's like, where are the lizards? You know, I really want to know where the fuck the lizards are. Now, Hanafuda, being the lone survivor of this lizard valley cleansing, led him to collect these certain devil fruits in order to recreate, of some sorts, this kingdom that he had going on. But unfortunately, he was killed off and couldn't reach his, what I presume to be his goal, okay? And that's the theory. Now, somebody probably came up with this before I did, but I never seen it out there. I never seen nobody talking about Hanafuda, not Hanafuda's first theory video on YouTube. Hey. But let me know how you feel about this theory, because I feel like there is, I know it's funny and I'm like reaching, really it's not, I'm not taking it that serious, but there's definitely some details that could have happened here. You know what I'm saying? The Clown Valley, the Lizard Valley, the God Valley incidents, it could be a thing. The most impactful side character in all of One Piece has a lot of theories. Walk with me. Channel today, we will be getting into a couple of Trafalgar Law theories in the One Piece universe. He has a few out there, but these ones I narrowed down to be my favorite. And that is because we are currently ranking the Warlords on my channel, and Law this week was all about Law. I just posted his ranking, and now it's time for the theory video. But make sure you're liking and subscribing, and let's start here with Law's death. I have a feeling that Law will die in the story, but it would only make sense if he dies in this specific way. After Luffy is defeated by Imu, I don't think Luffy will go into this battle and win it right away. I feel like there's going to be some ups and downs here, okay? But after he is defeated by Imu, Law will come in and give Luffy the Eternal Life surgery. I mean, you can't have a devil fruit, and one of the downsides to it is if you perform this procedure on somebody, you die, and not use it in the story. And the only person it would make sense on is Luffy. Now, I would personally like this to happen when Luffy is like knocked out, like unconscious. So when he wakes up and Law's just dead, you know, Luffy will have that extra oomph in him to really go forward with what he needs to do. Because Luffy doesn't want to see Law die. I don't want to see Law die. And Law, on record, throughout the story, has gone on to say that the D-Clan is special. He's put his life on the line for the D-Clan multiple times. But really, it was Luffy that he put his life on the line for. And it just makes sense. A perfect sacrifice, a perfect ending for a very perfect character. I can't see it happening other way. Rest in peace, Law. Now, that really wasn't like a theory. It was kind of like a prediction. But that's the way I want to see it happen.
But let's move on to this next theory. And it's about Law's name. Law has a strange, not really strange, it's kind of like an aesthetic kind of name, but at the same time, it's like just out of place in the One Piece universe, I feel like. Trafalgar D. Water Law. Now, the name Trafalgar is a historic reference to the Battle of Trafalgar. In 1805, a naval battle happened and it led to the defeat of French and Spanish fleets. So, I mean, there's that, and pirates, you know, navy, it makes sense. But more importantly is the name water. And in Japanese culture, this name is passed down through ancestors, alluding to high status or nobility. So this would mean Law's lineage is royal. And I think he hides it because this could be a kingdom that betrayed Imu in the ancient conflict that happened eons ago. And Law being the only member of this, let's say, clan alive, and they will still go on to betray Imu, because this kind of feeds into my last theory. Imu thought he defeated Luffy once and for all. Joy Boy dead once and for all. But Law brings him back into life. The Water Clan betrays Imu again. And let's be real, watchers and readers believe that Imu is like a sea devil of some sort.
Water Clan betraying the water demon, water god. It's poetic.
I'm kind of there, but also I think Imu is an alien. Go check out one of my last theory videos. Now that's a lot of reaching, okay? Let's bring it back down a bit and talk about Law's current location. Now, the last time we seen Law, he and his crew were decimated by the Blackbeard pirates. But before they made it to this island, they were heading away from Wano. And as Beppo was saving Law, he started swimming in the sea, headed back towards that way. But he's not in Wano. I have a feeling that Yamato's cover story would have maybe covered this, maybe, depending on the timeline of things, you know. But I think it would make more sense that he's on Zunesha. And let me tell you why. Because Zunesha was also not on Wano, but off the coast, not too far away from Wano. So really, they weren't that far off. I mean, you never know. You really never know. Now, Beppo being a mink, it would make sense. But also, the pirate, ninja, mink, samurai alliance, it would also make sense. So like I said, Zunesha does move, so it could be tricky with the timeline and, you know, relativity and stuff like that. But I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. Now, what is Law doing here? And this leads me into my last Law theory. Well, obviously the minks are tending to his wounds, of course. And also, I think that he is coming up with a way to get revenge on Blackbeard for A, either taking his crew, or B, killing them. And I don't know, what do you think? What do you think happened to Law's crew? Now, I want to say that Beppo will get a buff here back on Zunesha, but he was already here. Why didn't he get it then? I mean, you are the right-hand man to your captain, and I'm not gonna lie, Beppo was going crazy on Blackbeard's crew. So it's possible. It's in the realm of possibility. Let's keep it in the realm. But I also think Law is here not only prepping, but maybe training a little bit for this rematch, which leads me to believe that Law will end up taking one of Blackbeard's hearts in this rematch. As revenge for his crew, Law is also known for taking hearts, so that adds up. And Blackbeard is speculated to have multiple hearts, 3 to be exact, like an octopus. I think the heart thing would make sense. And if Law could pull this off somehow, I feel like it would be detrimental to Blackbeard. Because it is speculated that Blackbeard will end up with 3 devil fruits, and he already has 2 that we know of, ultimately giving Law the very last laugh. I don't know, I would like to see it personally. I know it's a reach, I'm reaching, blah blah blah, blah, blah. It's a theory. Okay, just get into it, live in the world for a minute, you know? So for a little recap of this theory breakdown here, Law will die by giving Luffy the eternal life surgery. The water in Law's name is important and might have some royal ties and could go back to the ancient kingdom. And finally, Law is on Zunisha and is prepping for a rematch with Blackbeard. And in this rematch, he will take one of his 3 hearts, if you believe that he has 3 hearts. Like I said, I know they're reaches, but just live in the world for a little bit, have a little fun, you know what I'm saying? But let me know how you feel about these theories. Like I said, just fun, having fun. Okay, I know I'm gonna sound crazy, but I need you to hear me out and walk with me. Boa Hancock is special. Walk with me. Today, we will be getting into some Boa Hancock theories, and these theories are kind of like sickening, you know, like kind of like good. I'm currently ranking the Warlords on my channel, and I like to drop a theory video that coincides with the ranking video. So go watch the ranking of Boa Hancock and the rest of the Warlords or whatever. We're on Boa. Next week we'll be doing Law. So like and subscribe. Now, what makes Boa Hancock special? Well, let me tell you why. The Mera Nomi, or the Love fruit, okay? Walk with me. The theory goes like this. A previous user of the Love fruit went on to freeze the poneglyphs in time, turning them into stone, the stone that we see them now. With an awakened version of this fruit, I can definitely see that being a possibility, turning inanimate objects into stone, I guess. I don't know who came up with this theory, but it's interesting. Now, where this comes from is really Roger has the voice of all things, and he hears or senses a presence coming from the poneglyphs as if they were speaking to him, which is very fucking interesting. I always thought that was interesting when first heard about that, because that is an ability with the voice of all things to hear things from inanimate objects. And it would make sense on why Blackbeard wanted this devil fruit, you know what I'm saying? Because I've said it again and I'll keep saying it, Blackbeard knows more than what most people in the story know. And if it wasn't for Ray Lee, he would have this fruit, okay? Now, if this is the case of the past user of the Mera Nomi turning the stones into stones, I guess, what would a Blackbeard's goal be in all this, you know? And one of the things I think he could or would want to do is to depetrify them somehow, some way, and ask them how to get to Laugh-Tale. I don't know. We don't know if he has the voice of all things. He could, but we do know that he doesn't have anybody on his crew right now that can read poneglyphs, so he doesn't really know how to get there. Pudding, everybody's saying that Pudding, he's gonna take the memories or some bullshit, you know, with Pudding, which, okay, it makes sense in retrospect, but I like this, kind of. Now, this theory is good, okay? I can hear the people in the back telling me to shut the fuck up. I know. But I think it's more than that, okay? Personally, I think an old user of the Mera fruit definitely petrified something or someone. Who would this be, and why is Blackbeard so interested in it? And like I said, Blackbeard is in the knowing, okay? What or who does he know that is petrified, that could be unpetrified, that could help him in a situation or get information out of them? Now, some might say Rocks or his dad or his mom, but I mean, yeah, I can see it being Rocks, but I don't know. Rocks is dead, 100% dead. I'm convinced. We don't know what happened with his mom, but it wouldn't make sense. What does she know that, would be so... I don't know. She could know something, but I don't think it's his mom or Rocks. I think it's Davy Jones. I love Davy Jones theories in One Piece. You're asking why? Why Davy Jones? Why was Davy Jones petrified? And why does Blackbeard want him free? Because that could possibly be the will of Davy. Okay, we already know the will of Davy exists. Okay, Rocks needed 3 devil fruits. He never really specified what devil fruits that he needed. What if the will was to someday be depetrified somehow? I don't know. I know it's a reach, but it could add up. You know what I'm saying? Because what if he just wanted round 2? with Emu? What if he really lost in the first round and was petrified by somebody way back when, and he just wants a round 2? And it's never stated that Davy Jones is actually dead. In fact, Robin even states he was cursed by the devil to live on the sea floor, where he still resides to this day. Is that not interesting to you? You know, like, I don't know. There's definitely something up with the Davy Jones character. I feel like some people are looking at him as he was a bad guy, maybe, possibly a bad king, and then Emu saved the people of One Piece. But I don't think that that's the case 100%. But I personally love this theory so much because, you know, somebody on Emu's side or even somebody on Joy Boy's side could have went on to save Davy, or in the case of it being somebody on Emu's side, just petrify him, you know, get rid of him once and for all, you know. But if it was somebody on Joy Boy's side, they petrified him so he could come back and fight one day, fight Emu, you know, and really take Emu out. I don't know, it's interesting because I was looking into Boa Hancock theories, and the poneglyph one kind of stood out to me. I kind of like that, but I just wanted to add a little bit more to it. Now, I'm not saying I invented this theory, but I didn't see anybody else talking about it. Now, I know there probably is someone out there that already, you know, gobbled this theory up, and if they did, kudos to them because it's a good theory. It really is. So for a little recap for this Boa Hancock theory is a past user of the Mera Mera no Mi turned the poneglyphs into stone. I like that theory, but there's holes in it, so I decided to add more to it, and maybe they turned a person into stone, a very important person, which I personally think would be Davy Jones. That's why Blackbeard wants the Mera Mera no Mi so bad, and he wants to depetrify Davy Jones in order to do, I don't know. And that might be the will of Davy. I don't know. I know I sound crazy. I'm a reacher. Hey. But I just like One Piece theories. Let me know how you feel about that theory in particular. Stop. Right there. I have some buggy theories I think that we need to talk about and you need to hear. Walk with me. Today I want to speculate on Buggy's lineage, okay? I mean, like, before you click off, just look at the guy. Look at him. Something isn't right here, okay? But before I start, please like and subscribe. We are almost at 7K. I would appreciate it very much. We are currently ranking the warlords here on my channel. And after I rank the warlord, I like to drop a little theory video in ties of the ranking video. So go watch the ranking if you want. And now it's Buggy's turn. We're in the Cross Guild here right now, okay? But let's get into this. Let's start with the one that everybody is talking about as of recent. Buggy being Rox's son. Why do people think this, okay? Let's look at some proof. Their bounty posters look mad similar, okay? If we put a red nose on Rox, hey, same fucking person. It's the same person. But somebody did point out the other day, Oda has drawn over 1,000 characters, so there will be some overlap here and there, but this just feels too weird, okay? Like, tongue sticking out, big wide smile, you know, it's kind of strange. Same eyes. It's weird, right? And now Rox's real son, the one that we know is his son, Blackbeard, seems to be making similar moves to what Rox was doing in his time, taking his rightful place on the throne, the empty throne that Emu sits on, that at one point was Davy Jones. Blackbeard wants the world, so in turn he's trying to be the king of the world. But on the other hand, Buggy is also sort of falling into those footsteps, weirdly. With Cross Guild and the Rocks Pirates having similarities, okay? Like one pirate crew, but several captain level crew members, led by one person. And when we look back at Rox's crew, they took him serious, but also they like didn't give a fuck, you know? I mean, they were there
through Davy backfight, so they kind of had to be there. When you look at Buggy's situation, his two main people that are on his crew right now, Crocodile and Mihawk, they don't give a fuck about this person, you know, but I feel like they have his back. You know what I'm saying? Like, the crews are very similar in a way. Now, more proof on this theory is we just got the actual official coloring for Rox's hair. We all know he has two-toned hair, and we all, like, we're speculating it's gonna be pink and orange because Oda loves to do crazy, outlandish shit lately in the story. In my opinion, I think it's clean as fuck. Buggy is known for his luscious blue locks. Okay, hello. Honestly, I have more here on this theory, but that right there, when we got revealed the color of his hair, sold me. Fully sold me on this theory. And both Buggy and Rox lost to the Pirate King's will. Buggy lost to Luffy, and Rox lost to Roger. Now, when Rox was introduced to us on Elbaf, you see in the background a huge Elbafian mountain. I pointed this out before. Mountains in Elbaf have to be ginormous, okay? We just see it split in half somehow. Why? How? Why? How? Why? And that leads me and other people, okay? I'm a huge fan of this theory right here, that Rox had the Chop Chop fruit, which we all know is Buggy's devil fruit. An awakened version of that devil fruit, of course. Okay, enough with the speculations. Let's talk about facts. Buggy is 39 years old, okay? God Valley happened 38 years ago. So in that time leading up to God Valley, Rox definitely could have cracked somebody else and had another baby. Easily, you know? Men in One Piece are not faithful, you know? They're not good guys. Like, at the end of the day, some of them are, okay, let's be real. But they're pirates. It could have happened. And moving on from that Rox theory, now another fact is Buggy has a clown nose. I mean, we indeed are looking at a fucking clown. A clown. What if he's just not related to Rox at all? But I think he is. But what if there is a whole clan of these people out there? A whole country full of clowns. We need to look at facts. Again, Buggy is a clown. We are looking at a clown. Red nose, he is a fucking clown. But why? Why? What makes, like, we're looking at a clown. There's no other clowns in the story. Why? And with that fact alone, his lineage has to be special. Has to be. Let's put Rox aside. I definitely think he is related to Rox some way, some shape, some form. But the clown lineage is still there. Regardless, take Rox out of the story. He's still a fucking clown. Where? Why? Like, he has to come from somewhere. Like, the clown nose just doesn't come from nowhere. You know what I'm saying? And we're going back to speculation town here. Okay? Let's say that there is an entire country of these clown people out there somewhere in the world of One Piece. But what if there isn't, or isn't anymore? What if what happened on God Valley also happened on this clown island? Because we know that the cleansing happens every few years. What if Buggy was saved by Roger somehow, some way down the line, because this cleansing was happening and the island was going away, wiping away the entire clown lineage outside of Buggy? And we know just because you are one of the last of your lineage, you know, that you will be tracked down. I mean, look at Kuma, but in some cases you're not. Blackbeard was a warlord and an emperor now, and he's part of the Davy clan, okay? Like, they have to see that, you know? Like, Emu felt Davy Jones' presence in Rox. They have to feel that with Blackbeard, you know? Maybe they haven't felt it yet, okay? But there's things that point to this. And it's like every other race has their own island. Why wouldn't the clown people have their own island? Like I said, I don't think the clown nose just came out of nowhere. That is his real nose, because we don't know Buggy's true beginnings, and personally I'm looking forward to that Buggy flashback. I don't know, I'm just a huge fan of Buggy, and I think his story will continue to be interesting, and
was interesting as he was growing up. You know, I would love to know what you guys think. Do you guys think that Buggy is related to Rocks and Blackbeard? Or do you just think that Buggy's lineage overall is important and he was part of this big clown world, you know, on an island somewhere on the Grand Line? Because that's what I'm thinking, but also I like the idea of him being Rocks' son somehow, some way. One of the most controversial theories in all of One Piece. You either hate it or you absolutely love it. Walk with me. Well, today we are talking about a few crocodile theories, okay? There's not really that many crocodile theories, so I mean, we've heard of some of these, but I want to get into them. Because right now we are currently ranking the Warlords. I just did crocodile. Every time one of those videos drop, I like to add like a little theory mixed in there. You know, give them some attention, you know? So before I start, please like and subscribe. We're almost at 7K. Let's get into this. Now let's start at the very, very beginning. In Crocodile's youth, he comes into contact with Imperial Ivankov. We all know the story. Something happened here between these two. Okay, let's just jump right into it. Imperial Ivankov has the Horo Horo no Mi, or the hormone fruit, a paramecia type with a few different abilities to this fruit, which it's in some cases it's kind of broken. Let's talk about it real quick. First of all, a healing technique. By injecting hormones into the body and shocking the immune system can heal you very fast and very quick. But this comes with a drawback, with the recipients of this ability sacrificing the will to live and even some of their lifespan. So like I said, it comes at a cost. Also giving energy to not only themselves, but the people that they use it on. And another ability that it has is making people's heads and themselves, their own heads enlarged. And I just think that's kind of strange, you know? Like, it's just a weird oddity to a devil fruit. But the most interesting thing that this devil fruit can do is change the gender of not only themselves, but other people. It's very woke, a very woke devil fruit, okay? Now, once again, something happens between Ivankov and Crocodile. And in Impel Down, we see Ivankov threaten Crocodile about spilling his tea, clocking his tea, if he didn't come to Marineford and help free Ace, okay? Now, what is this secret? That is the theory here. Now, first, I want to divert into a smaller theory that I think has, like, a little bit of plausibility to it, you know? What if he simply was just an ex-revolutionary, you know? Like, helping Dragon and stuff do these big things in the background of the world and the story that are good things, but what if he didn't want people to know that he was doing good things? He is a warlord. He is a pirate after the fact, if he was in the revolutionary, after leaving the revolutionary. So, I don't know. It's kind of plausible, but let's just keep going. Now, what if, just what if, the secret is Crocodile was turned into a man by Imperial Ivankov's devil fruit, okay? We all know this, okay? But what is some of the proof on this theory? Walk with me. Something I really want to point out at the very beginning of this is I've been noticing with Crocodile, when they flash back to the Roger execution, you never see his face. It's always him from the back, like a back shot of him. Hey, just a back shot of Crocodile's head. And you never see the front. You don't see where the hair ends. You don't see none of that. It's very ambiguous. Now, in the live action, okay, pause. I know some people hate the live action. Some people don't even give a fuck about the live action. But in the live action, at Roger's execution, you can see a woman. And this woman is like, they like give her a good one-on frame, you know, like very in your face. And she's not like a background character. She has some like depth to her character design. It could be that is Crocodile. Who knows? Now we need to talk about Crocodile's young character design. Oda draws it in an SBS, and it looks very ambiguous. And now here's the definition for ambiguous if you are confused. Okay, I was a little confused myself at first, but you can't tell if it's a boy or a girl. A very tomboyish vibe Crocodile has going on. And his Seraphim actually kind of takes on this ambiguous role. Okay, that's a very key thing here. And that's really all the proof in the pudding. I mean, like, whoever came up with this theory was really looking deep, because even back then, this started way back then, you didn't have much to go off of. I feel like they're just going. They just went for it. But another theory how Crocodile ended up in this situation is Ivankov saved Crocodile on God Valley. Okay, and changed the gender so Crocodile wasn't seen as a wanted woman. Okay, I mean, like I said, it's plausible, because what else could this secret mean? You know, like, it's just very too much in your face to even, like, you have to, like, at least think about it for a second. Okay, her devil fruit can turn male into female and female into male, and Crocodile has a secret that only this person that can do this knows. What else could it the fuck be? Now, I am a fan of this theory, not the God Valley theory, just overall Crocodile being a woman. But this next theory is pure fucking insanity. Croco Mom. People out there, oh my god, I don't even want to talk about it, but people out there think that Crocodile is Luffy's mom. Okay, oh my god, I don't even know how we got here. Like, where did the plot go? You know, like I said, whoever came up with this shit you're nuts. I hate it. Absolutely, I hate it. But we need to talk about it because it is a huge, if not the biggest Crocodile theory ever, okay, in the story of One Piece. So, Crocodile and Dragon are both 46, okay, so the ages do fit for the parents to actually be able to get together. Some people think Luffy and Crocodile even look similar. Both have sharp eyes, wide grins. Okay, I guess I can see it, okay, you know, I guess I can, but, like, outside of that, I do not fucking see it. Crocodile even saves Luffy a few times at Marineford as if his motherly instincts were kicking in during the time of need. I don't think it was that. I really don't. I think Crocodile sees something in Luffy that he's just like, whether you want to or not, you can't put out this flame. You just can't. But the Crocomon theory is it's just very outrageous. It's the most outrageous theory in the story, in my opinion. But I would like to know what you guys think of the Crocomon theory. Like, it's absolutely insane. Mihawk is hiding something from us. Walk with me. Today, I want to talk about why I think Mihawk is Imu's highest ranking soldier. The highest ranking Holy Knight, okay? Now listen, you're probably saying, Mihawk, a Holy Knight? That's why I said walk with me. We walking, okay? We just ranked Mihawk in the Warlord system. I'm ranking the Warlords right now, and he was just right there, okay? And I think this is the perfect time to tie this theory in that I have for Mihawk, so you just walk with me. But before I start, please like and subscribe. We are almost at 7K as of filming this right now. Now, when it comes to Dracula Mihawk, his current epithet is world's strongest swordsman in the world, whatever, you know, it goes a little bit like that. And with this God Valley flashback, we see Rocks call Imu the world. You see where I'm going. I mean, the dots are there. I'm just connecting, you know. Mihawk being Imu's right-hand man, it would just make sense. It would make so much sense. I mean, look at his eyes, for example, okay? The only people that have those eyes are Imu and the people that Imu has control over. And I think something is very much up with his eyes in particular. And I think he could possibly be an Arona. I mean, at this point, with all the Nepo piece that we're getting lately, you know, nothing is off the table, but keep walking. Zoro says that he is more human.
So I misconstrued this topic, actually. He says that the Seraphim version of Mihawk is actually more human than the normal Mihawk, which is still insane.
Now, the word Dracul means son of dragon or son of devil. You see where we're going here. Emu having a lot of parallels to, you know, your typical devil. And I mean, make son of devil. The devil of One Piece, basically. The same eyes. Same eyes. That's Narona Emu's son. Or something. Okay, they're related somehow, some way. But another similarity these two have is his sword Yaru looks very similar to the marks on the throne that nobody's supposed to sit on, but I guess we're gonna call it Emu's throne. They look very similar. Okay, there's another connection here. Okay.
And also, I forgot to mention in this video, but Mihawk also likes to refer to people as insects or rabbits, just like how the Holy Knights and Saturn, the five elders, do as well. So like he has ties to that as well. It's just weird, the language that they, you know, all share.
But that's really, you know, all I have on this topic, okay? I don't want to speculate too much. I keep getting dragged. Okay, on TikTok, I keep getting dragged on YouTube. I don't want to get dragged no more, okay? But this is, I feel like this has depth to it. It has like something there, okay? And I feel like they are related somehow, some way. The dots are there, you know? I can't prove it, okay? I can't prove anything yet, but I'm like 85 on this one, okay? 85% sure on this one. Let me know what you think. Do you think Emu and Dracul Mihawk are related somehow, some way? It doesn't have to be by blood. And do you think that Mihawk could be Emu's right-hand man, the world's strongest swordsman? Do you think that is a possibility? I would love to know. The Blackbeard pirates are up to something. Them going to Egghead was just a little part of their diabolical plan that they have going on. Walk with me. Today I want to make a little video about why the Blackbeard pirates went to Egghead in the first place, okay? And why their mission ultimately failed, okay? Now before I start, please like and subscribe. I just uploaded a video about Blackbeard coming to Elbaf. The Blackbeard pirates are coming to Elbaf. Whether you think so or not, that's just what I'm thinking, okay? It's just an opinion, it's not a fact. I'm not stating facts here, okay? We're speculating. But let's get into this. Now, I'm just gonna jump right into it. I think the original plan for the Blackbeard pirates to come to Egghead was to get a copy of Vegapunk's face. Katarina Devon's Devil Fruit. The Ino no Mi. She can copy people's, kind of like Bon Clay's Devil Fruit. She can touch people, copy them, and sound and look exactly like them. Carbon copy. Now, why was she coming to touch Vegapunk and get Vegapunk's face? It is because I have a suspicion that Blackbeard was going to announce something to the world, similar to what Vegapunk is doing right now in the anime, but I think it was to reveal something deeper than what even Vegapunk is saying right now, because at this point, what we know about Rocks, I feel like Rocks knew more than Vegapunk did. And at this point, Blackbeard has to know. He has to know about his father's will. It would just make sense, okay? And I theorize that Blackbeard got his hands on a notebook or his dad's logbook, and he knows everything, okay? He was going to reveal something very dark and sinister, and the plan was to use Vegapunk's face to do this. But another reason they could have came to Egghead was to steal something. Maybe it was knowledge that Vegapunk was researching about the Void Century, or maybe it was about the Mother Flame, okay? To steal that and use it to power a ancient weapon to set his plan into motion. And I feel like the team that he sent to Egghead, that would have been easy for them to steal something. Even if it wasn't the Mother Flame, it would have been easy for them to get in and get out. Like I said, Katarina Devon's Devil Fruit is low-key broken for missions like this. She could have caused a distraction. While Van Augur has the Wapu no Mi, and he can warp or objects and other people along with himself. So I'm talking about in and out, because I mean that's basically what happened with even when they touched Saturn and got Saturn's face. But ultimately the plan failed, because for the reasons that I stated, Vegapunk is dead, Saturn is dead. So even if they, you know, came and they were like, okay, at least we can get Saturn, Saturn's dead. You know, but most of the world doesn't know that, okay, that Saturn is dead. So they could still use it to their advantage somehow, some way. But I believe that their original plan was to touch Vegapunk. But they ultimately still could have gotten that mother flame. We don't really see them much after what happened with Saturn, and they just disappeared after that. So it's interesting. Things were stirring here on Egghead. It wasn't just with the Straw Hats, and that's what I want to point out. The Blackbeard Pirates are up to something. I just can't prove it yet, okay? They are making moves behind the scene, beyond the main story right now. They're putting things into action, okay? So, I don't know. We know Blackbeard is up to something. We just don't know what yet, okay? Today, I want to make a little video about Blackbeard coming to Elbaf, because what we've seen from him and his crew lately has been just a bit strange. His motives have been a bit sketchy, to say the least. But now that we know what we know about rocks, it's kind of interesting. But before I start, please like and subscribe. We're almost at 7K, okay? So walk with me here. But like I said, with Blackbeard, his crew, they've been making moves here, okay, in the behind the scenes, okay. Now the first one I want to point out, it kind of goes into two, is Jesus Burgess was on Doflamingo's island, Dressrosa, in the Dressrosa arc, trying to get the flame fruit, but also he was like taking in information and stuff. And after he was beaten by Sabo, oh, thank God, shout out Sabo, he follows Sabo back to Baltigo, which is Dragon's Turf, the Revolutionary Army's home base, home headquarters, and tells Blackbeard about this. Blackbeard and his crew come to Baltigo and destroy the base, okay? So they have to move their headquarters, okay? Another key moment from Blackbeard's crew lately is Katarina Devon and Van Augur on Egghead. I have a video about this coming out soon, because we never really know why they were there, okay? But I have a few ideas. But while they were there, they got Saturn's demonic form, okay? She touched Saturn while he was in his demonic form, and now she can transform herself into looking like that. Interesting, it's interesting. Blackbeard decimates the Heart Pirates, unfortunately. And once again, we don't really know why, okay? I personally think he was trying to get Law's Devil Fruit, okay? Law has an OP Devil Fruit that has a specific function that whoever has it can perform a procedure that makes the person that they're performing it on live forever, or, you know, like be eternal life, basically. And another thing that they're up to is they are collecting devil fruit, OP devil fruits, okay? Mind you, OP fucking devil fruits, like they are infinity stones, okay? They're up to something. My last key point is they tried, or Blackbeard himself tries to take Boa Hancock's devil fruit, and what is all this adding up to, you may ask? Well, now that we know what we know about Rox, and knowing that Rox is indeed Blackbeard's father, I believe he's following his footsteps, and he will go to Elbaf. Why? Well, if you look back at Rox needed a certain devil fruit that was on Elbaf, and also needed Herald and the devil fruit simultaneously, okay? So I think Blackbeard is out to look for Loki, okay? And Loki supposedly has this devil fruit, and he will try to get Loki to join his crew, just like Rox tried to do with Herald. But I think he's too late. Honestly, I think he is too late, because after Loki meets Luffy, I think Loki is a Luffy stan now at this point, like all of us. I mean, after Luffy meets everybody, they're always a Luffy stan, besides a few people, a few haters, okay? But for the most part, everybody that Luffy meets becomes a Luffy stan. I think it's going to be the same thing with Loki. So I think Blackbeard's plan of trying to get Loki to join his crew ultimately has failed. Somebody just dropped all their Mario coins in the hallway outside. Why? But I think he will be on elbaf while our Straw Hats are here. And I think he will confront them. And I don't think that this will be the last time that they meet. I don't think that this is going to be the fight. I think Blackbeard is going to tell the Straw Hats some information, because at this point we know Blackbeard knows more than a lot of people in One Piece. Okay, for God's sakes, his father was Rocksteady's event. Okay, one of the most knowledged men of the Void Century and things that happened prior to the Void Century. It's something's up. Something's up. But ultimately, I feel like he will reveal Davy's promise that we were told about in this Rocks flashback. And I feel like it's all going to happen here on elbaf. I'm sorry. I'm not even sorry, because it's just speculation. For real. But since Shanks thought that Blackbeard was gonna go to Wano and he absolutely wasn't, the next step is elbaf. Okay, I feel elbaf is a key part to whatever this end game is. Okay, for One Piece, elbaf is a key part, and I'm glad our Straw Hats are here, because they're getting it going. Okay, it's going. But yeah, this was just a little fun speculation video. I keep getting dragged in my comments, okay, because people think that I'm like trying to state facts, and indeed I am not. I say most of the time I am probably 195,000% wrong. Okay, I know that these are reaches, but it's fun. I like reaching when it comes to One Piece, because there's so many possibilities. So many possibilities when it comes to literally everything. So I just, let me reach, please. Fuck. There's a lot of theories out there about Blackbeard, but this one in particular has sparked my interest as of recently. Today, I want to make a little video just about Blackbeard. Okay, I want to know if this theory is true and if it's gonna come true, because a lot is happening on God Valley. The theory goes that Blackbeard has the octopody no mi model kraken. It's a pirate story. It would be a sin if there wasn't a kraken devil fruit out there somewhere. Now, when it comes to Blackbeard and octopi, the number 3 is a huge standout theme between these two, okay? For example, Blackbeard's Jolly Roger has 3 skulls on it. Why? Weird. But with those skulls, it also has 8 bones that, are with the skulls. Octopi, I don't know the plural for octopus. Octopus have 8 tentacles, okay? He's seen a lot of the times with 3 braided beards, and he also leaves 3 scars on Shanks' face, right? Yeah, 3 scars on Shanks' face. Octopus never sleep, neither does Blackbeard. Okay, fact check. Octopuses do sleep, but it's in like bursts. Like they don't get much sleep. Now, people like to say that he is 3 people in one body. Okay, I like that, whatever. But I think it's more than that. I think it's 3 souls in one body. We all know that Blackbeard's lineage or body, whatever, is unique in a certain way. We don't know why or what that is as of yet, but maybe it's because he can eat multiple devil fruits. We already know he has 2, but it would make sense for him to have 3, sticking to this 3 theme that we see with Blackbeard. Now, this is it's one of my favorite theories, because I start to imagine headcanon here, okay? We already know he has two devil fruits as of right now, the Gura and the dark fruit. But imagine 8 huge, large tentacles coming out of the sea, the water of One Piece, and slamming 8 huge tentacles slamming down on the water with the Gura fruit. Imagine what that would look like. I think that would be one of the greatest panels in anime or manga history, honestly, and definitely top 3 for One Piece. Okay, now why am I really saying all this? Okay, I think it's because of the rocks situation that we're going through right now.
This video was filmed before chapters 11, 63, 64, and 65. And what's interesting about it is we actually find out that Emu calls Rocks Davy Jones. And we know that Rocks is Blackbeard's dad. And it's just interesting because Emu can clearly feel or sense the presence of Davy Jones or his will through Rocks, and it's wild, and it's kind of adding to my theory that I'm getting here.
So I think that inside of Blackbeard's body he has 3 wills, okay, or like souls, okay, his own, Rocks, and Davy, okay. This goes into the uniqueness that we know that Blackbeard and Rocks have. Their lineage is special. We don't know the specialty to that. That's why I'm theorizing here, okay? Are you walking with me? Their bodies are able to feed multiple souls, devil fruits, within one body, creating, in the world of One Piece, the most dynamic character out there, okay? And honestly, if that does happen, Blackbeard, he's already respected as one of the final villains in One Piece, but I feel like if this all happens, or whatever happens with Blackbeard, the overall anime and manga community will respect Blackbeard as one of the greatest villains of all time. That power would be so broken. So broken. Rocks calling Emu the world, but also Van Augur telling Saint Saturn that that is Blackbeard's goal, is the world. It's all connected. It's all connected somehow. I just can't prove it yet. Blackbeard's arc is only just beginning. It really even hasn't begun yet. We will see soon. But I just posted a few videos. God Valley predictions. We have Rocks having and not having devil fruits. Why Rocks is so misunderstood. What Rocks said to Roger. I have a lot of videos coming out. But I want to know your guys' thoughts, okay? On this theory in particular. Okay? The death of Whitebeard might have more importance behind it than what we originally thought. Today, I kind of have like a theory video going on, and that sparked from my community on TikTok and even on YouTube. People have been saying things because I've been saying things, and things are being said. So all this started for me personally when Rocks was introduced, claiming that he needed 2 devil fruits to execute whatever plan that he needed. I was always perplexed as to why Whitebeard was with Rocks. We thought of Rocks as a bad guy. I also just posted a video about why we misunderstood Rocks. Go watch that as well. But why was Whitebeard with him if we thought he was a bad guy? I personally would never even think that Whitebeard is lying to us or anything like that, because I think he's so pure and one of the greatest characters in One Piece. But in recent events, to us, it seems as if Rocks really isn't the problem. After Rocks told Whitebeard his plan, Whitebeard was on board. Even as going as far as facing off with the Emu at God Valley, right next to Rocks and Kaidou. He was going along with all this because Rocks needed Whitebeard's devil fruit. And whatever the plan was, Whitebeard was 100% with it. Rocks never said that he needed to eat the devil fruits. I think that he just needed people with the devil fruits. Because also Harold. Why? But this is about Whitebeard, not Harold. I really don't know what his plan was with these devil fruits, but Whitebeard backed him fully, and I'll say it again, Whitebeard does not have a bad bone in his body. Okay. But Blackbeard being revealed as Rox's son kind of shed some light on where I'm trying to go with all this. Now, everybody was thinking, including myself, did Whitebeard know that Blackbeard was Rox's son when he got him on his crew? But what if he did know? And he tells Blackbeard of his dad's will and his goal, or gives him like a notebook or his logbook or something. And a lot of this really stems from TikTok. I got a comment on one of my videos on TikTok because I just made a video about giving Whitebeard his flowers, okay? And in that video, I talk about Rox needing Whitebeard's fruit. This beautiful woman, Claudia, says, I 1000% agree. He needed Whitebeard's devil fruit. A part of me believes Whitebeard was in on it. Blackbeard is fulfilling Rox's dream, and Whitebeard knew that. Might be a reach, but never know. Okay, okay, I'm not the only one that thinks this way, okay? And I say, ooh, no, I like this reach. And she goes on to say, it's almost like Whitebeard told Blackbeard that if anything happens to him, he has to take his fruit. Whitebeard also tried stopping Ace from going after Blackbeard. I don't know, we'll see. See, that's interesting to me because I'm feeling the same exact way right now. Whitebeard will do anything to help Rox achieve his goal, okay? Even if that means letting Blackbeard take his devil fruit. If Blackbeard didn't come to Marineford, Whitebeard was gonna die either way. He was stage 4, okay? Fighting these people. In the manga, half his face or body was like punched off, okay? So he was gonna die regardless, and the devil fruit would have went into the world government. We don't want to see these well, I mean, that would be interesting, I'm not gonna lie, but I do not want to see these people with Whitebeard's devil fruit. So Whitebeard told Blackbeard, take this. And this is also a theory here, but Whitebeard knows about the special lineage, the reason that Blackbeard and Rox's bodies are special or whatever. I think it's because they can eat multiple devil fruits. And Whitebeard knows this, so he let Blackbeard take his devil fruit. Now this is all just a theory, okay? But I found it very interesting, very, very interesting. And I want to know your guys' thoughts and how and why all this went the way that it did, okay? I think we're gonna get more and more as time goes by, but I could be 100% wrong, but I still think it's interesting, okay?